David, good morning. How are ya?
Good afternoon to you, Cari Champion. I'm doing great. How are you?
You know what? I am one of those fans that may be taking this situation with the Dodgers really hard.
Did you stay up for this thing?
Oh my God! Well, it's 10:40. Of course, I stayed up, but
Okay.
I tried to turn away, and then when they made it 12-all, I said, "Look here." I said, "I have to watch." I am stressed. I do not understand this. I am still that stress.
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
good.
enjoying it as an outsider.
Way to be a friend.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it for you. Yes, you're right. I am starting to feel it for you. How do you condense 5 hours and 17 minutes of high drama into 128 seconds? Here we go. Check it out.
Oh, all right. So tonight, Monday Night Football in Kansas City. What's the one reason the Chiefs have lost back-to-back games? Ryan Clark, you heard from him. He'll explain in just a few moments. David, there was football Saturday. Ohio State's dramatic comeback win against Penn State. Should the Buckeyes be in the top 4 in the first college football playoff rankings? My guy, Paul Feinbaum. All right, so joined now by George Sedano, and they want me to add the fact that you do a morning show here in LA with Kershaw and LZ. We know that it's a great morning show.
Thank you.
I want to get to.
You've been on it.
Yeah, I just want to talk about what we came to talk about.
Yeah, you are not happy.
So talk to me about this last night, and I'm listening to different takes on how people perceived, Dodgers up 4-0, Kershaw on the mound. Allegedly, that's supposed to be it. We are supposed to win. The Dodgers are supposed to win. How bad, or do you think last night's performance, his performance specifically, affected his legacy in the postseason?
I'm not saying this.
I'm not trying to diminish his entire resume, but this is when it counts, no?
Well, game 1 didn't count?
Of course, but here we are, 3 games to 1.
Series would be over without game 1.
And what do you think about his performance last night?
He had a bad performance.
Okay.
There's no denying that. But the legacy conversation is the issue that I have. It was the type of stuff that you sit there going, like, what is this strike zone?
Yeah.
Like, where is it? I think his performance yesterday was awful. There's no way to describe it otherwise.
But people are having this conversation.
For sure.
And he needs to redeem himself. Will he have the opportunity?
He might. He said he'd go on Tuesday if he had to.
Do you think last night he managed his relievers?
He's managed his relievers. He stayed true to his form. He's managed them this way the whole time. If you look at it, Dave Roberts is a numbers guy. As the Sixers would say, he's trusting his process.
Okay.
But that does have some ramifications.
Absolutely.
Because what we've seen now is the bullpen is taxed, like Buster talked about, for both teams, for that matter.
Yeah.
But specifically the Dodgers, I've seen them all. I've seen Jim Leyritz hit the home run. I saw Josh Beckett close down the Yankees in person in 2003.
You're out of 10.
That drama was unbelievable.
I need you at a 7. I need you to calm down.
Carrie, I'm trying to pump you up.
I'm excited.
Game 7.
All right, I say. All right, game 7, according to George Sedano. Jeez, I'm hot watching you, as in sweating. We're done talking about the Dodgers. Thank you for joining us on Coast to Coast. All right, David, what's coming up next? We'll have Amin Al-Hassan in studio to talk about the Greek freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo just rolls right off the tongue. He's amazing, and he's doing well. How great is he doing? Like one MVP named Russell Westbrook. We'll explain on the choice words about NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. They don't seem to be on, good standing like me and David. Me and David are cool. Meanwhile, we come up and we'll talk about that Ezekiel Elliott suspension. That's next on Coast to Coast. Nothing but the best here on Coast to Coast. Thank you. It took a lot of effort for that Bunny of Love outfit.
See that? I forgot my outfit.
Yeah, you forgot. I will get you
one.
On that. The great Marley Rivera joins me now here on Coast to Coast. We're talking Game 6. God, stress. Let's go over Game 5. How'd you feel about that? Emotions?
I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. Certainly, a lot of people are comparing it.
The offense. What's been the key for this Astros team?
I think it's almost rediscovering who they are, Carrie. This is the team that was the top offense.
Relentless. They never give up. I agree with that. You can see that. Let's talk about the one guy that everyone is saying, the one player rather that everyone is saying is arguably the most important player tonight for the Astros. That's Justin Verlander. How long do you think we'll see him?
I think that what the Astros want is to see him a really long time. I think, we have to be careful. I don't know that it's a manager mistake. We also have to remember that these players are going to really deep into the season, right? They already played 162.
Fair.
There's a lot of, there's difficult.
You could see it.
One of the great things about Kenley Jansen, and he learned that from watching Mariano Rivera, you have to turn the page very quickly because the most important game is the next.
All right. They're telling me we got to close. I hate to do that with you. Game 7, will there be one?
I believe so.
All right.
Yes, I think so. And Yasiel Puig said it, so I think we
appreciate it. Back to you, David. Okay, so what is it like to play in one of the greatest Game 7s of all time? I'll tell you. No, I won't tell you. David Ross will tell you. He's going to give a first-hand account on how he helped the Cubs win their first world title. So for the second straight year, the World Series goes to a seventh game. Baseball fans are hoping that the Astros and Dodgers will match the excitement of the Cubs' Game 7 win over the Indians last year. The sentimental player for Chicago in that game was our very own David Ross, who was playing the final game of his career. Ross now takes us through the emotions of playing that night. We were playing hooky, but that's okay. It has nothing to do with anything. Jessica Mendoza, Pedro Gomez here. Hey, I know, right?
It's a big truant.
Okay, so I thought that was interesting. So 1995, the city's last pro sports title. That was obviously, and you pointed that out with the Rockets, Hakeem the Dream. They get their first, I'm talking about the Astros, title in franchise history. I'll start with you first, Pedro. How did they build this team to get to this point?
By losing.
Too, because when you look and you think about where baseball's at right now in the day and age of a ton of strikeouts, where bullpens reign king, if you look at this Astros team and how they were built, I mean.
Last night, if they don't make that trade for Justin Verlander.
Oh, my God.
They are not even remotely close to being here.
I was just thinking the same thing. But meanwhile, we talk about the bullpens. That had been the storyline. I had you guys on all this week. You said both agreed they were struggling. It's interesting because after the game last night, we heard Kershaw talk about the bullpens. Take a listen. It hurts. So, Jess, I'll start with you first. What went wrong?
You know, I think Darvish, when you talk about, not that it's all on him, but when you talk.
You know, he's never been in this big of a stage. That's number one. And you don't.
Well, obviously,
we
when
can
you
say
know the
it now.
result. No,
Yeah.
but I think the thing is
He was the guy to start. He was on full rest. You know, 5 days. You can't have Yu Darvish to be the star. They got Yu Darvish to pitch after Clayton Kershaw to be the next ace, and that didn't even.
Dodgers fans saying that, grumbling like, but why? And no one would have known Kershaw would have done that.
You go with a fully rested Darvish.
You do, and that makes sense, right? I'm not.
I mean, you know,
he's a four-time All-Star.
Kershaw's going to do it. Yes. No.
Gosh, we got caught up. I wanted to ask you about the future of the teams. It's over. Darn it. Okay, have you guys slept at all during this time?
No, not at all.
I will.
Tomorrow, manana.
No sleep till November.
Tomorrow they sleep. You guys have done an amazing job. Jessica Mendoza, Pedro Gomez, thank you so much for joining us here.
It's been fun.
Look at this guy. George Springer just became the World Series MVP. Coming up, we tell you how he became a hero to many for much more than his play on the diamond. We're back. David, overthinking kills everything. Meanwhile, coming up on Coast to Coast, this lovely lady, she will be here. South Carolina women's basketball coach Dawn Staley joins us to talk about winning the title and the expectations for this coming season. Plus,
a very loyal and humble coach. She's honest with you, and I think that's one of the reasons.
David, thank you for that. Meanwhile, coming up on Coast to Coast, we've got our weekly installment of Paul and Pollock. They'll tell you the one game on the schedule that'll have the biggest impact on the college football playoff. That's Reggie Bush, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Coast.
Thank you.
Sam Darnold, any good?
Amazing.
Amazing. We'll discuss that after
One
the
word.
break. I have a Trojan here, guys. Coast to Coast in a moment. He's here. Super Bowl winner, national champion, running back supreme. I added that. Reggie Bush joins me now here on Coast to Coast. Thank you so much for joining us. No, you're more than welcome. Look, okay, so I got to get this off my chest. There's some rumors out there. There's some confirmation, not confirmation. Are you retired? Are you an analyst? What are we doing?
I am not retired.
With that one, because how many teams in the league right now do you think have great quarterbacks?
A handful.
A handful.
Not a handful.
All right, so and
so
that's
a handful of teams. If they call, then
Reggie's available.
I'm available.
All right, so let's start right there. You put your analyst hat on, so we'll ask you some questions because one of the hot topics, speaking of running backs, is Zeke Elliott. He will play this weekend, the back and the forth and the back. What's your take on everything that has been happening with this fight in that franchise?
I mean, it's just an emotional. Coaches and all the players try to say that, you know, we're not worried about this. We're focused on football. It does affect them.
You know, that's a very fair point. They will tell you we're on to Cincinnati, if you will. But what kind of wear and tear does that take on your football team, that distraction?
Yeah, just emotionally, right? Because, you know,
Savage, he was benched at halftime week 1. So if he wasn't the answer then, why would you think he would be the answer now? I ask you this. Do you see a situation where somebody like Colin Kaepernick would come in and play for that team? Could you see that?
Winning football games. And if a guy can help you win football games, then so be it.
Let's transition to a place where you became famous. That's college football. The first college football playoff rankings were unveiled on Tuesday. I wanted to know, you look at where the committee put Georgia 1, Alabama 2. Do you think they got it right? The true reality, I cannot have someone who went to USC on the show and be as kind to you. We play you all. We as at UCLA play you all November 18th. Should we make that's happening. Should we make a friendly wager? Who's winning?
That's a guaranteed win. I'm guaranteeing victory right now. On ESPN, you heard it first. I'm guaranteeing.
Reggie Bush, ladies and gentlemen, on Coast to Coast. And I guess you're going to stick around and judge top
I'm sticking around
five.
for a little bit, yeah.
All right, David, back to you.
Hey,
I like when the big guys get a chance to dance and show off, man.
Yeah, because it's not fair. You're right. They need love too.
Yeah, big guys need love too.
I agree with you. Now, David, what are we doing with ourselves right now?
we're going to go to a break, but let me just say one thing before the break. Our top five today is going to be fun. It's going to be in honor of Reggie being there in the studio that day.
It has been.
Around the NFL.
David, I appreciate you. You sound like you may or may not have a cold, but you are my best.
I've been laboring, but it's the weekend. I can see the weekend from here, so it's all good. Cari, we will talk to you again on Monday. Looking forward to it.
You're
Outside
awesome.
the Lines coming your way next.
Love you, buddy.
Yes, you too, Cari. We'll see you on Monday.